Good morning, everyone. Will the Committee on Executive Management please come to order? This morning we have members Say, Kia Aina, and myself present in council chambers, along with Council Member Cordero via video conference. Before we start our meeting, I have some procedural announcements to make. Pursuant to Section 92-3.7 of the Hawaii Revised Statutes, this meeting will be conducted as a remote meeting by interactive conference technology with the following procedures in effect for the meeting. Members of the public will be allowed to provide oral testimony on all items on the agenda in two ways, remotely and in person in the council chamber. Remote and in-person oral testimony will be allowed when each agenda item is taken up. Before testifying, each person shall state their name. Each speaker may not have anyone else read their statement and is limited to a 1-minute presentation on each item. All persons who have registered to testify remotely by video conference will be called upon first. When your name is called, please monitor your screen and activate your audio feed when prompted. I will then give persons who have not registered an opportunity to testify. Please utilize the raise hand button feature in Zoom to be called on. For those joining us by telephone only, please press *9 to indicate your desire to speak. I will identify you by the last 3 digits of your phone number. When your number is called, please press *6 to unmute yourself when prompted. Some friendly reminders and tips. Video conference from a quiet location if possible. If you are also watching the proceeding on Olelo, please mute your television at the time you are called to testify. When the timer on the screen reaches 0, please conclude your remarks promptly. Once all the remote testifiers have testified, or proceed to in-person testimony in the council chamber. Persons who have not registered will be given an opportunity to speak following the oral testimonies of all the registered speakers. Hawaii Revised Statute Section 92-3.7 requires all votes at remote meetings to be conducted by a roll call unless unanimous. Therefore, if any objections are noted, I will call for a roll call vote. For those council members participating from outside of the council chamber in accordance with HRS Section 92-3.7, the meeting will automatically recess if we lose audiovisual contact with you and cannot reconvene until we reestablish contact. Therefore, please announce beforehand if you will be voluntarily signing out of the meeting. Written testimonies, including the testifier's address, email address, and phone number, will be available to the public as described on the posted agenda. As a courtesy, please turn off all cell phones. I also want to note that Councilmember Matt Wire is excused. Okay, agenda item number 1, members. Resolution 24-176, requesting the City Administration to take the steps necessary to acquire the Queen Theater property, including, if necessary, the preparation of a resolution for the Council to initiate proceedings in eminent domain. Members, we have a proposed CD1, OCS 2024-0904/10/8/2024, 12:20 p.m. submitted by myself. For your information, the amendments are listed on the agenda. I'd like to start with the administration. We have the Managing Director, Mike Formby. Aloha, Mr. Formby. Thank you so much for being here. Could I get your input on the proposed resolution?
Morning, Council Chair, Committee Chair Waters, Committee Vice Chair Say, and Council Vice Chair Kia Aina, and Council Member Cordero. Mike Formby, Managing Director, City and County of Honolulu. I apologize, I had, for some reason, trouble hearing what you were saying over here, but I am here today to testify in support of the resolution. As a resident of Kaimuki, and as someone who has worked at both the state and the county level for a number of years, I've participated in many neighborhood boards, including the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board, have extensive history working with the community. And I can't think of a community that has united to do more to preserve the character and the beauty of a community than Kaimuki. They really have, and it shows. When people drive up Waialae to the top of the hill, they recognize the sense of community. And this property is central to that. There's no property that could be in a better location than this one to help unite that community and beautify Kaimuki, and it's a treasure. And with respect to the family that has owned it, I know that in the past, many times, they've tried to work with the neighborhood board and with the community to work together to find a way to upgrade it, but it hasn't happened. And I think a lot of time has passed. Sharon Snyder, who was key to beautifying Kaimuki, worked on this project almost up until her death. Sad to lose her. But I think it's an asset that needs to be for the community's benefit. The community has spoken about this for years and years and years. And its location is more than just another location. It's not just a property that the city is looking at condemning. It's a key parcel in a key location that unites Kaimuki, and we can take it to that next step. So by condemnation, it doesn't mean that it has to be an unfriendly or an adversarial condemnation. It can be a friendly condemnation. And we can work with the owners on coming to a fair market value for the property and making sure that the city uses it in a way that continues Kaimuki's effort to beautify Kaimuki. So the administration stands behind this resolution and will work with the council to provide the information that's requested in the resolution. We'll work with the council on coming up with the funds to purchase this property, but we fully support it, and I'm here for any questions you might have.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for the Managing Director? Councilmember Kiaina.
Thank you so much, and thank you, Managing Director, for understanding what the intent of the resolution is and acknowledging the community support for this project. With regard to negotiating with the property owners, I understand by reading through my memo here that previous discussions have been rebuffed. But can you enlighten me perhaps on any discussions that the administration has had and any prospects moving into the future?
So, council member, I'm not aware of any discussions between this administration and the family. I know that we have attempted to contact the owner and we're unable, but we haven't had face-to-face discussions. I'm aware that the community has.
Okay.
And members of the neighborhood board have. And I've been at neighborhood board meetings where members have come forward and said that they have been working with the owner. That's secondhand information to me. But I believe the people that appeared before the neighborhood board were credible people and made representations to the board that they had contacted the family and that they were going to work on improvements to the facility for the benefit of the community, and it hasn't happened.
So with the, hopefully the eventual passage of this resolution, this will give you the authority to move forward in an official fashion on behalf of the city, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I'm pretty sure Chair Waters would also enlighten us because he has a lot of history and knows. I just wanted to know if there was any effort. I do know, just based on history that I've had with condemnation proceedings, I feel that both the political leaders, including Chair Waters, as well as the community, has gone as far as they could, because eminent domain is normally, a mechanism of last resort. So I'm fully confident, I guess, not only with the chair's leadership on this issue, but the community support of it, and the administration's commitment that we're hopefully going to come to closure on this and move this project forward.
Thank you. Agree with you.
Thank you. Councilmember Say or Councilmember Cordero, any questions for the Managing Director?
At this point in time, my answer is no. He's done a great job representing the area of Kaimuki. This particular theater was part of the House district that I was a part of also. I'm happy that the administration is open to listening to the council and you, Chair, in regards to the eminent domain process or other processes that may be in place. Yeah, Queen Theater was a great place before for me as a young kid. Queen Theater and Kaimuki Theater. But more importantly, Queen Theater, which is centered on Center Street also, has a parking lot available in the back. And, I think it would be a very, very jewel for the city to maybe acquire it with some consent from the private landowner at this point in time. And I believe the owner's daughter has done a great job too, as far as attending a lot of our Kamiki neighborhood boards. So in closing, thank you very much for introducing it. I wish I had more time. I would have contacted our state senators and state representatives to support us if we ever go through the eminent domain process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councilmember Cordero, also pursuant to, I believe, HRS 92-3.7, can you identify any persons with you?
There's no one with me. Thank you, Chair. But I also, Chair, if I may I have a question for the City Administration?
Yes, please proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Managing Director Formby. It is wonderful to hear your resounding support for the resolution as well as for the property. While I obviously am not a resident of Kaimuki, I went to school there for majority of my life at both Sacred Hearts and, well, not majority, but the first part of my life at Sacred Hearts and St. Patrick. And walking from those schools up to when KB Toys used to be up there right across the Queens Theater. Even as a kid growing up, I've been able to unfortunately see how that, as Councilmember Say said, Jewel has definitely took a turn and needs to be rebuffed or shined again. So I'm definitely in support of this resolution as well. But my question is, with the preparatory actions listed in the resolution, I was wondering how long do you feel that the city administration, the department that's directed to do so, will take to do such actions?
So council member, the reso, as I read it, requests that we report back in 45 days on the time frame that it will take to accomplish items 1 through 6. And I believe that we can report back within 45 days. The time period to accomplish those things depends, one, upon the capacity of our departments, and second, upon whether or not it's a friendly versus unfriendly or adversarial condemnation. So typically these things like Pensacola, they typically take between a year and a year and a half, and I would expect that it would be a similar time frame for this property. But I would hope that we could move as quickly as possible because I think there's such great potential for the community here.
Thank you, Managing Director Formby. Moving quicker also will help us funding-wise, I assume, too, right? And if this resolution moves forward, I hope you anticipate that you work along with the council member of the district as well as the rest of the council to figure out if there's any funding necessary to ensure that we complete this thoroughly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, members, I'd like to turn to registered remote testifiers. First, we have Calvin Hara. Hello, Mr. Hara.
Aloha, good morning.
Good morning. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chair Waters and members of the committee. I'm excited to be able to offer additional testimony to my written statement, but also encouraged by the comments thus far. Also, I'm a person who grew up in Kaimuki from the small kid time, has been in Queens Theater quite often over the years. I look back at the history that we read, that the theater has not been used since 1985. That's 39 years ago. We have 39-year-old residents who have seen a vacant, dilapidated, blighted building. This process for eminent domain would allow the property and the building to be used for the community, whether it's a community theater, a community center. As said earlier, Kaimuki has its character, and we could put this piece to usefulness and also not be a safety hazard in the condition it currently is.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for Calvin Hara? Calvin Say.
Hey, Mr. Hara, this is Calvin Say.
Mr. Say.
Yeah. If the property someday in the next 2 to 3 years is acquired, would KPBBA be a organization managing it and maybe operating it. That,
Yeah, so a little bit of background. KBPA, Kaimaki Business and Professional Association, been the past president. Definitely, I think the association would want to be a part of that endeavor. One, not just for the businesses, but for the community at large. I've always said that, you know, Kaimaki and KBPA would not exist without community residents and visitors.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Howard. Nice to see you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Malin Moore. Good morning, Mr. Moore. You're on mute.
Unmute. All right.
There you go.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks for letting me speak this morning. And I'm speaking on behalf of the organization called Friends of Queen Theater. I've been a member of the nonprofit for over 15 years, and we were formed in an effort to persuade the owner to convert the theater to a usable space again. But we've run into nothing really but roadblocks along the way. We conducted a public use assessment. The results were overwhelmingly positive by the community for the support of turning the theater into a local organization, a place where groups can rent it out for a reasonable charge. I have met with the daughter of the owner, who seems to feel the same way, but nothing has come of our discussions. So we are urging the city to proceed with the resolution and, if necessary, begin the process of eminent domain.
Thank you so much. Members, any questions for Mr. Moore? Councilmember Kia Aina.
Thank you so much. Thank you for being here, Mr. Moore, to testify. Since I know many of you have been actively involved, can I just ask what the fair market value of this property is? Do you know based on the tax records?
I don't have that information with me.
Chair, by any chance, do you know? No.
I do not. Sorry.
Okay, no worries, no worries. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for Malin Moore? Councilmember Say.
Mr. Moore, if my memory goes back in time, aren't you a radio announcer?
Yes, I still am. I do traffic reports for a number of Honolulu stations.
Thank you.
If you lived further away, you would be commuting and you'd be listening to me on the radio.
Thank you so much. Okay, next we have Jeanette Heranico. Good morning.
Morning. I am Jeanette Paulson-Heranico, and I'm happy to be here in support of the resolution. And I'm the founder and the first director of the Hawaii International Film Festival. And we just love the Queen's Theater. Starting in 1985, we tried so hard to get it because we recognized the history of the theater as well as the location. And also the Hawaii International Film Festival is dependent on the two chains of theaters that exist here, and the corporate headquarters is on the continent. It would be really nice to have a center for creative storytellers right here in our own city in beautiful Kaimaki. And I can tell you that I've been to festivals all over the world where the city has given a lot of money to have a center like this for creative storytellers, especially for film festivals. And the populations have been as small as 11,000 in Iowa and in Montana here in the United States, as big as millions at the Cannes Festival and Toronto. So as that founder who has tried so hard, even with some money from some of our donors, I'm really for this resolution. I thank you so much for trying as hard as you can to get it.
Thank you. Members, any questions for the testifier? Seeing none, thank you so much. And it's nice to have you in our neighborhood as well. Okay, next I'd like to turn to registered in-person testifiers. We actually have the owner present today, and thank you so much for being here. Adore you.
Oh, sorry about that. Aloha, council members. Thank you for your time and consideration. My name is Adora Yu, and I own the Queen Theater. Although I oppose this resolution as it relates to condemnation, at the same time, I strongly support its intent to restore the property. I grew up in Kaimaki. I understand the importance of the Queen to the community, and I am fully committed to revitalize the theater and create a space that the community deserves and can enjoy once again. I also understand that we have had previous conversations regarding restoring the Queen. However, what is different now is that I have full authority to make decisions regarding the Queen's redevelopment and have a financial plan in place to pay for the work that's needed. Around this time, both my parents were also diagnosed with severe medical illnesses that required our attention. Today, I'm ready and willing to commit to putting in the time and resources to execute a plan that could commence before the end of this year. The plan involves a multi-phased approach. Phase 1 focuses on restoring the Queen's facade so it can once again be a bright spot in the community. The plan is to refurbish the sign and marquee, new paint, and I'll also be implementing security measures to deter illicit activity and restrict access. I already have contractors ready to start this work with a projected completion date of April 31st, 2024. Phase 2 focuses on improvements to the lobby and second floor to prepare these spaces for potential multi-use tenants. This phase has a projected completion date of December 31st, 2025. Phase 3 focuses on improvements to the auditorium space. I understand the theater was always cherished as a gathering space. I want to restore the auditorium so that it may be used for community events and gatherings. This phase has a projected completion date of December 31st, 2026. I want to emphasize that these plans are flexible and that I'm committed to a continuing partnership with the community and want to ensure that needs and concerns are addressed. With that said, I respectfully ask the committee to defer this resolution so that I can execute this plan to restore the Queen into a space that the community can benefit from and be proud of. And that's all I have if anybody has questions or comments.
Yeah, thank you so much. Members, any questions for Ms. Yu? Councilmember Say.
Yes, thank you very much for your testimony and your commitment to the theater. My first question would be in regards to, will the facility be open to the general public at large as far as events that may occur monthly? Or what do you have in mind as far as what you see the operations of the theater?
That is my plan for the auditorium space of the theater.
Okay. The next question, which I think the residents of Kaimaki and the surrounding area would be, Adori, would it be possible to create a nonprofit or a foundation having your parents' name as a foundation and having board of directors from the community?
That's certainly a possibility.
In discussing what the goals or the objectives and purpose of what, mom and dad would like to see also. What I'm getting at, that's why I'm saying creatively creating that foundation with mom and dad's name, but officers and members are from the community itself to get more input. That's all.
I'm not sure if that was a question, but I do want to just reiterate that we are committed to a continuing partnership with the community, and I feel that that concept is in line with that.
May I just follow up, Mr. Chair? The reason why I bring this up because you have in the testimonies a lot of individuals who play a major role in Oahu's culture and the arts festivities, the performing arts, the visual arts, the concerts, etc. And that's why I'm trying to get you to think about having maybe a nonprofit organized by you with these type of caliber people like Jeanette Paulson, people like Mr. Hara and all the others who are part of Kaimiki that can give you some emphasis of where you would like to take that particular theater. And that's all it is. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair Say.
Councilmember Kiaina.
Thank you so much for coming today. I'm actually heartened about your personal story because I do know how it's very difficult when you have family and then, in your case, your parents were ill and you have taken full reign over the future of the property. So I commend you for that. With regard to your business plan, I guess in my mind, I'm interested in financial sustainability, not just with regard to taxes, but also with regard to infrastructure commitments as well as maintenance costs. So in your business plan, have you calculated all of this? And the reason I'm asking this is because Councilmember Say's recommendation is actually a good one, not only because of the community nexus and for them to partner with your family, but also because of the eligibility of this nonprofit organization to be able to secure both private and government funding at all levels of government to kokua what the community and your family will be envisioning for this property. And so it's kind of a two-part question because first, I just wanted to know if your plan was contemplating that, so it could be financially sustainable. And second, I believe that this nonprofit recommendation might be something good to think about when you contemplate it, that financial sustainability.
So, well, first off, to address the nonprofit idea, I agree that that's definitely an interesting idea, and we are definitely open to looking further into that. And with regard to our plan, I understand where you're coming from, why you're asking this question. However, what we have been working on behind the scenes is that we've been putting money aside for this project and now have enough funds to completely cover phase 1 and plan to cover most, if not all, of phase 2. And for the work needed for the auditorium, that is the space that requires the most work, my dad has signed the necessary documents that makes me the sole decision maker of the Queen's redevelopment and would allow me to obtain the necessary financing for the work that we are not able to cover.
And that contemplates maintenance costs as well?
Yes. So
okay.
I've consulted with multiple project managers and contractors regarding this, and we'll continue to do so along the way.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further questions from members of the committee? Councilmember Cordero.
Thank you, Chair. Hi, Ms. Yu. Thank you very much for being present today to have this discussion. And it's, as Vice Chair Kia Aina mentioned, that it is heartening to hear that you have been approaching this methodologically. But I wanted to know your timeline as to when you started to plan this, both financially as well as with plans for the building in itself.
So I understand that you're asking when I started to plan this, and that was actually towards the end of 2022, and that was when, I realized that the discussions with local developers were taking much longer than expected, and also, just realizing that I had made certain representations to the community and Council Chair Waters that I wanted to follow through on. It's just that, it took time, simply.
Okay, thank you. And and I understand the time that is needed to not just consider the plans, but make sure that you would have, like you said, the financial backing for it. But what Vice Chair Kia Aina mentioned about the stability financially, as well as what council members say and everyone else is concerned, I think you understand where people are coming from, where they don't want to see, as everyone has mentioned, this gem rebuffed, but then not supported in longevity. And so would you be able to explain if you have further backup plans for that? Because I feel that with the whole community behind this purpose or this type of a resolution, it ensures stability for the property as well.
So the hope actually with making these improvements immediately, at least the ones that we can, is that, you know, it would generate more interest. And I think, or at least I hope I've made clear that we are open to partnerships. We're open to discussions. I'm committed to working together, you know, with the community to ensure that your concerns and needs are being addressed.
Okay, thank you. That's the questions I have for right now, but I may have any further, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilmember Cordero. I have a few questions, Adora. And first of all, thank you so much for being here today. And I read your testimony, and I have no doubt that you are sincere about this theater and the love for the theater that I'm sure your family has. But as mentioned by both Calvin Hara and Malin Moore, the theater has been sitting vacant since 1985. And I grew up in the area, and then I've walked past that theater for years, and it's been sitting vacant. Initially, I introduced a resolution back in July 14th, 2021. It was Resolution 21-158, asking the city administration to condemn the theater. And you and I met back then, and you asked me then to postpone hearing this resolution because back then you were going to do pretty much what you're saying you want to do now. And it's been 3 years. That's why I reintroduced the resolution. I guess what I'm asking you is, what efforts have you made in the last 3 years that would convince me and this committee that you actually are going to do what you've promised to do 3 years ago?
Well, first off, I have to emphasize that the situation is different now in that I have been authorized and given full authority by my dad to make decisions regarding the Queens redevelopment. And this is what allows me to now seek the necessary financing needed for the auditorium. And aside from that, what we've been doing, because I wasn't in a position before to seek financing, was I was trying to put away as much money as possible to put towards this project. And that's why we are ready to commence with the work essentially immediately. I have contractors ready to work, ready to start the work, and at least the paint can be started before the end of this month.
Well, one of the things that we talked about 3 years ago was restoring the sign. And you had committed to restoring the sign at the very least. And that hadn't happened. Why is that?
So,
and by the way, the sign was falling apart. Remember, there's a piece that was hanging into the walkway. My office was calling you or your family to at least fix that portion because it was dangerous.
right? And we did address that issue, you know, as quickly as we could, and we addressed the. I understand that it was an immediate safety concern, and you know, ever since I've gotten involved with this project, that has been my #1 priority, making sure that I was addressing any immediate safety concerns from the community. And that was clearly voiced to me, and I took immediate action on it. The sign-in marquee, is definitely a significant project. So we simply had to save money for it without me being able to seek financing.
You know, one of the things that I've learned over the few years is that restoring a theater is going to be very, very expensive. I would imagine in the millions of dollars. And then running a theater actually is sometimes a losing proposition. It's very hard to turn a profit. And my concern is that based on everything that we've talked about over the years, that you're going to end up losing money on this project if you do it by yourself. So let's start with phase 1. You said you've engaged a contractor. How much is that going to cost to complete phase 1?
The budget we have for phase 1 is $250, or sorry, $250,000.
Okay. And then phase 2, the interior renovations, how much is that going to cost?
That is estimated at approximately $200,000.
Okay. And ultimately, you're saying you're gonna improve the interior lobby and second floor of the theater to prepare it for potential tenants. So the theater itself, right? There's no plans to renovate the theater, the large room where the stage is.
That's actually covered in phase 3.
Okay, and how much do you anticipate that costing?
You know, we mentioned that that phase does require the most work out of all of the areas of the building. So we are estimating that at approximately $350,000, because we are also, one of the significant issues for the auditorium is the roof, which we're trying to spread out through actually all of the phases.
Okay, thank you. Members, any follow-up questions? Councilmember Kiaina.
Thank you. As a follow-up to Chair Waters' line of questioning, you know, I'm pretty sure that you have probably done your due diligence with regard to other theaters. Have you had any communications with like the Hawaii Theater or other theaters with regard to the finances necessary to be profitable or even to break even?
I have not spoken with Hawaii Theater specifically. They, my understanding is that's also that's run by a nonprofit as well, right?
I think it would be helpful because it's nice to have all of these plans, but it's good to have a realistic comparison of what it actually takes to run and administer, this property. So just for my colleagues, I sent out a couple of texts with regard to the dollar amount. So the value of this property is about $3.1 million, and the annual taxes is about $39,000. As this property, if it is envisioned, is restored, I'm just assuming the property taxes will likely increase, and so that's why I continue to, I guess, for myself, be concerned about the realistic financial sustainability of this project if you were to move forward. But again, I commend you and your family for endeavoring to work with the community to visualize what can be here. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, members, any further questions for Ms. Yu? Okay, thank you so much. Again, really appreciate you being here and your willingness to work with us. We do have two other registered testifiers.
All right, thank you all for your time.
Chair,
Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. Councilmember Cordero, you have a follow-up?
I will be logging off, but I hope to join the conversation when I'm in.
Okay, thank you so much.
Wow.
Next, we have Becky Gardner, followed by Lori Amata.
Aloha, Chair Waters, members of the executive, what's the second part? Executive Management Committee? Yes. Forgive me, I am freezing, so my teeth may be chattering. It's not because I'm nervous at all. I am a member of the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board since 2017. I think I've been to every single meeting in the last, I guess, 8 years or so. Check my math on that. I'm also a member of the Kaimuki Business Professional Association, and I've been a resident of Kaimuki for quite a while, and I lived on the next to Queen Theater from 2016 to 2021, and I have 2 young girls, which we actively avoided walking around that corner because of vagrancy and use of illicit drugs. You can look at my testimony for some of the things I've observed there. I had drafted a resolution that we passed in 2021, I believe, that I think it was passed unanimously, that addressed the sanitary safety concerns, the historical significance, and also the potential that renovating this theater can do for the morale of our community. I want to highlight, 1 minute. Just briefly, I've witnessed Ms. Adoriu coming to the neighborhood board meetings, and I've heard her say many of the things that we are hearing today, but a lot of words and very little action. So I think it's time for the county to take action, city county to take action. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You know, the timer went off, but if you do need more time, please feel free to.
Okay, yeah, just a few highlights in addition to my testimony. I've known a number of people that have been inside the theater, just sort of, just from personal relationships with tenants and whatnot, and they've reported that the place is very dangerous and not safe for people to be walking through. I've smelled very strange smells. I've walked around the corner. I've seen human feces next to the theater. Behind the theater, I've seen people throwing bags, bicycles up top, living on the side. And it's not consistent with the character of the neighborhood. There are many businesses and yoga studios and martial arts and dance studios. So a lot of parents bring their kids around the Queen Theater, and I don't think it's good for our children to be growing up in that environment, especially with to the tenants there, which is a vape shop and a head shop. I just don't think that Kaimuki is a red light district, and I'm really happy to see this. It's been several years that the community's been working on this. And I will note that every time I go to the mainland, I try to check out the theaters in some of the smaller cities around this era, the sort of Art Deco era, and they're booming. These theaters are beautiful. They're renting out for parties, for like the Hawaii International Film Festival. There's so much great potential, and I think that restoring it to its original glory will help uplift the community immensely. So I appreciate your action on this and available for further questions.
Yeah, just as a follow-up, do you think that the full restoration of the theater would help the businesses surrounding the theater? I know right across the street, a restaurant recently closed, Big City Diner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the dream really is to revitalize that community through the theater so people could come enjoy the theater, then have dinner at the restaurants in the neighborhood.
Dinner and a movie, that's the classic date. And you can do it walking from the parking lot right behind the theater. There's a bank on every corner. The restaurants in Kaimuki are top shelf. I mean, we could really be sort of an exquisite destination in Oahu, except when you drive down Wailea, you see this eyesore. One thing I forgot to mention is I submitted as testimony. I was involved with an organization called Envision Kaimuki, and at the time it was Sharon Schneider, the late Sharon Schneider, who was at the helm of that, and she put a tremendous amount of work into engaging the community and exploring ways to restore it. And one of the things that she did was put together a survey and sent it. I don't know how many people filled it out, maybe hundreds. And what I gathered the data from that survey. A lot of it was just free form. What are your thoughts about the third theater? And I submitted those. I didn't edit it at all. I just highlighted some things related to the historical significance. But if you look at the testimony, you can see some of the actual words of committee members with respect to their thoughts on the theater. And it's also sort of summarized in the resolution that the neighborhood board passed in 2021.
Thank you so much. Members, any follow-up questions for Becky Gardner? Seeing none, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Next, I believe we have remote testifier Lori Yamada. Aloha, Lori. Please proceed.
Aloha. Yeah. Hi. Well, I'm Lori Yamada. I'm President Director of Envision Kaimuki. I worked with Sharon Schneider and Becky when she was on the board back then. I'm also a retired chair of the Kaimuki Neighborhood Board, was on the board for 28 years and was born and raised in Kaimuki. So I'd like to change my stance to comment instead of for or against because of what Adori Yu has said. I got a reply from her last night and I realized, well, you know, local style, you got to give them a chance first, you know, to improve it. And that it's really, you know, to our advantage that if they can do it, it'll save taxpayer money and all that jazz, you know? So, but if necessary, you guys could, you know, in the background, start preparing all this stuff, yeah? And, you know, just in case nothing really happens. But I agree about a nonprofit. Yeah, I see that angle totally after, you know, being in nonprofits in the past. And I just hope that, you know, whatever happens, that the city and the Yu family would be proud about having this community center for the people again, you know, because it is a iconic landmark on Oahu, just like Diamond Head, Queen Theater is Kaimuki, you know? So let's, you know, hope for the best and a hui ho, you know? Okay, thank you very much.
No, thank you. Is it the position of Envision Kaimuki that we'd like to see the theater restored and brought back to life for the community's use?
Yes, yes.
Terrific, thank you so much. Members, any follow-up questions? Seeing none, thank you. Is there anybody else from the community who'd like to testify? We'll start with in-person testifiers. Seeing none, thank you. I know we have a hand up from a telephone with the last three digits, 585. Please proceed.
Aloha. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much. Please proceed. Can you state your name for the record?
Yes. Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. My name is Anderson Lay. I'm with the Hawaii International Film Festival. I'm currently the artistic director for HIF. Thank you for taking my testimony on this and in supporting this resolution. You know, I've been with HIF for over 2 decades now. I'm also grew up in Kaimuki. And it's been, you know, kind of it's been wonderful to actually move our offices to the Kaimuki neighborhood. So we are now currently at 3512 Wailea Avenue. You know, really want to build HIF and really put in our flag and footprint in the Kaimuki neighborhood. And then I grew up in Kaimuki as well. You know, I went to Ali'olani Elementary School. You know, my family had a business in Kaimuki, actually next door to the Queen Theater. We had a video game toy store. So it's been great. I've been, off island, but been back, and then now back, and been wonderful to really come back to where I grew up, and just think of fond, great memories. To see that Kamiki has retained its charm, its localness. I love what the whole community is doing with the neighborhood board, with the Kamiki Business Association, with the hashtag Keep It Kamiki, and whatnot, and to see it still be very rooted in what I, in the sense of where I grew up. There's been a little change, and to see lots of mom and pop stores, to see, dance schools, movement centers, restaurants, eateries. You have it, like pickleball across the street from our office. It's been really wonderful to see this, this kind of vibrancy of really keeping it. What is great about making what is wonderful about Hawaii?
I'm sorry, sir.
And then Oahu in itself.
Sir, pardon me. What was your name? What was your name again?
Anderson Lay.
Anderson Lay. Hey, in your experience, is what Adora used estimates of how much it's going to cost to renovate the theater? Basically what she said is under $1 million. Is that, in your experience, accurate? Did you get a chance to hear what she said earlier?
I did, and I don't have much experience when it comes to that, but I do know of other projects and with the renovations, when it comes to movie theaters in general, it would be much more than that. It would be definitely. I assume would be definitely in the low millions.
Okay. Last question. You said you owned a toy store. Was that Toys and Joys?
Yes, it was. That was my family's store.
Yeah, I remember that. I was really sad when you closed down years ago. But okay. Okay, thank you. Members, any further follow-up questions with Anderson? Seeing none, thank you so much. I just had one last question for Jeanette. Jeanette, you heard what Adori said about the estimate to renovate the theater. In your experience, is that accurate?
I'm sorry to say I don't think it is. In my experience of looking at other theaters in these towns, some of them I mentioned, and also trying to restore the Spalding House and maintain it. I think when that was brought up, the maintenance of it. And if you are going to have speakers and a state-of-the-art screens so that you can have the film festival as well as the community groups, you're talking millions of dollars.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much. Members, any follow-up questions before we go into decision-making? Seeing none. Okay, wonderful. Chair recommends Resolution 24-176 be amended to the posted CD1 as identified in OCS 2024-0904. Members, any discussion? Seeing none. Any objections? Seeing none. Resolution has been amended to the CD1. Chair then recommends Resolution 24-176 CD1 be reported out for adoption. Any discussion? Seeing none. Any objections? Seeing none. So ordered. Okay, thank you, members. Really appreciate your time today. Thank you to Adora Yu for participating today. The idea is, and I really would encourage you to keep moving towards renovation while we, on the city side, move concurrently to try to get this done. So thank you all very much. We are adjourned.